Hello, it is Monday, July 15th, 2013, and we're here with Isaiah.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to the office. I'm glad y'all came out today. We're here to talk about a few important things that's going on. First thing is the protest that we have here Monday. So today is July the 15th, 2013, here at the North Carolina General Assembly. Do you have any questions for me? I have a few minutes before I have to get on this.
Okay, what are some of the issues that will be protested today?
We have the one of the important issues is the Zimmerman case. There's a lot of protests, but one thing I can say, it will be a peaceful protest. That's what we tend to conduct here in North Carolina. There's been a few riots like out in California, but Trayvon parents asked everybody to be peaceful, and as far as Zimmerman is concerned, justice prevails. Is what our judiciary system is set up to be. And so there's a few opinions, a few people protest. There's going to be protests regardless. So it's a big national touchy issue that will be at the protest at 5 o'clock today. So we should have footage of the protest.
Okay, now, can you explain a little bit more of how the Zimmerman trial, which was in Florida, correct?
Sanford, Florida.
In
Yes.
Sanford, Florida. So how would that affect like a North Carolina area?
Well, I don't really think it'll affect the North Carolina area. To be honest with you, I think it's a political move. I think it was staged where there's a lot of cases like that happen every day in Florida. Because see, Florida's a technicality state, so I can't practice law here in North Carolina or in Georgia and also practice law in Florida. I have to retake the bar for Florida because their laws are so estranged. And so it might have been a political issue. I know Obama passed the gun control, doing more regulations with the gun control, stepping it up. And he mentioned last year that Trayvon could have been his son. And so it was nationally highlighted once Obama made that statement. So now it was a big issue. But there's a lot of Zimmerman cases going on in Florida right now because it's a different state than we are in the technicality laws and laws that stand your ground. So it'll be pretty interesting. I don't really think it's affect us as much as it's allowing us to be aware that this issue of perhaps profiling still exists in our day and time and era. So it's pretty interesting. We'll see what our president will do about that and what we do here at the House of Representatives.
Do you think this will allow room for more conversations about gun control, about refining or fine-tuning the laws? Because in the case of George Zimmerman against Trayvon Martin, he had a registered gun, and he was able to, in spite of him not following the orders of the police and the bylaws of his home association, how is he able to get off? Like, I mean, is there a simple explanation, or?
Well, that's just our system, how it's set up to be. You know, Zimmerman, what he did was, he did make the initial calls, and he was instructed to stay in your car. It was a case more on not staying in your ground, but staying in your car. But the situation is that Florida has technicality laws. Getting back to the technicality law I stated to you, where although you confront an incident and anything happens in between the exchange, any moment within that engagement, when you feel like you're threatened for your life, you can act in self-defense, part of your staying your ground. So it stretches out. You know, so Florida is one of those technicality states. So that's why I think it's a political move, because it happens all the time, not in Florida and other states as well, but Florida has a lot of technicality laws. The defense did a really good job of setting that up and for the jurors to see. So it was possible. It could have went any way, but we just had to accept justice as it is, and hopefully both parties can get on with their life, and it can be an inspiration and printed in the history books.
Definitely, definitely. Now, what do you think we can pull away from this whole long drawn out trial? Do you think we can hone in our energy and focus on eliminating the race on race crimes? So not just black on black, not just white on white, not just Spanish on Spanish, but we have so many degrees of separation within our own communities. So this just solidifies that we have so many oppositions against us as a people. So whatever race you are, this is a great opportunity for us to come together as a whole, without color, without race, without social status, but to truly defend our community, defend our rights for life. Because at the end of the day, no matter what the verdict was, Trayvon Martin should have not have lost his life due to mistaken identity, due to racial profiling, due to ignorance. And so now we're left with what?
Well, see, race wasn't mentioned not once, only at the end in closing arguments by the prosecutors. So it couldn't have been a case on race. Profiling was only mentioned less than 10 times, which meant that the prosecutors didn't set that up in the platform. But you know, it's pretty interesting because if the prosecutors went that avenue, then it would have been that type of situation. But in the foreground, we all can see how it could easily have been a race issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the defense did a really good job of changing their attention to actually the physical case and the laws of self-defense and technicalities. So we have come a long way as a country, as a state of North Carolina, but we still have more things that we need to do. That's why I believe that the system, the legislative system, and different statutes imposed comes into use and be a great service.
That's awesome. So the power is in our court to not focus on the racial lines of communication, but more just understanding our rights and understanding how our one individual voice can affect the collective. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's what the peaceful protest is today, just to show that we are not, or the people are not necessarily happy about the end result, but they want to make sure that their viewpoints are heard as well.
Yes, that's correct.
Are there any other issues that they'll be protested, not just the Zimmerman?
Well, one last issue, and we did. I think you came to the office last week. I think it was you who interviewed me. I'm not sure who interviewed me about the abortion bill.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was passed, and it was correlating with the motorcycle bill.
Mm.
And we told them how it was two different entities, but
Correct.
that bill passed. And let me tell you one thing: a woman's body is a woman's body. She can do whatever she decides to do with her body. I believe there should be a system so that it won't be abused. You know that a woman can think she can get an abortion anytime she feels like it, jump up. But at the same time, it's a woman's body and it's her money. You know, and we have these doctors who go to school for this stuff, you know, who put this into practice. We have enhanced technology to do this stuff. You know, we came a long way as a country, as being more inclined to growing of age. But I say one thing, a woman's body is a woman's body, and it's not a motorcycle.
Well, that's correct. But one of the other points that were argued during the final session was that the facilities in which these abortions were and these procedures were being had were not up to code. So rather than them,
what is up to code?
Well,
what is up to code? I believe everything's up to code now. Tell me what up to code means. More regulations, more restrictions.
They had a outside source come and investigate and do research, and based on their research, they were stating that that the abortion clinics don't have to adhere to the same bylaws that regular health practitioners and health facilities have to adhere to. So that in and of itself said that they found a lot of unsterilized equipment. They found a lot of improper drug distribution.
Okay, but don't blame the people. Blame them.
Well, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
So my thing is, blame them. If they doing that, then deal out with them. If I go to Bojangles and their sanitation score is a 67, that's because they did something that they have to fix. I come back next month and it's a 93. That's because they made that improvement, because we have put sanctions on them. We have fouled things on them. We had charged them. We had lowered their score, messed up their customers and their restaurant quality. And so that shouldn't be on us as consumers, or as we say, citizens, but that should be on these organizations, I say, because it's not government. And so we gotta get this one clear, that a woman's body is a woman's body, and it's not a motorcycle.
I concur. Well, my point was that are these facilities not ran by the government and funded by the government?
In a way, but it shouldn't be funded by the government. It's its own separate entity, just like the banking industry. Everybody think the banking, the Federal Reserve, is part of the government. It's not part of the government. We pay federal taxes, but That's not the government. It's not. It's a corporation. A bank is a banking corporation. Banks, federal government. You know, bank is a business. And so the fact that everybody thinks that the bank is the government is a misconception, and it's not, you know, but it shouldn't be like that. You know, Timothy Geithner, the former president of the bank, is now in the finance department, you know, and so like different things like that, you know, came across in the news, you know, so it shows how we have some type of corruption going on here. So no way form is to help industry attacked to the government. You know, it might receive funds, but it's not supposed to. So now y'all seeing the point. And so now the fact that just because we give a little money that we have a say over them, that's ludicrous.
Okay, so how do you propose, or how would you have handled the abortion? Do you think it should have been a separate bill, or even if it was tacked onto the overall motorcycle safety was an umbrella? Because if you pull the bill, it talks about many aspects of safety. So not just motorcycle and road safety, but also medical of all kind, but abortion fell underneath that. How would you have proposed that they, so even if you feel that the facilities should not be funded by the government, being that they are, and some portions of them are, and then the majority of the facilities were out of code, how do you think they could have proposed the bill or amended the bill so that that the women's rights were not affected, and the facilities would have had to hold the responsibility rather than the women?
Just like this piece of paper, it's just separated as two. Not one, but two. And it is, but they put it together some way. Taped it up and sent it out. This is one. And it's not. So, you can't separate the two, ball up. And what you do, you start again. Because the thing is, these two things should have been separated in the first place. You know, this is an old political move. This is an obvious political move. This is laziness. And what my reason I think the bill passed is because they spent so many hours on this. So many hours. After a while, you get tired. You're ready to go home. They sit 7 o'clock still here negotiating this bill, talking about it, you know, trying to garner support. And, you know, and there's more people against this bill, but it still passed. And so, you know, that just lets you know that, you know, they've drawn it out. You know, I could sit here and talk to you for 10 hours. After a while, you just click me away, or you won't listen no more to the interview because you said, okay, he's talking circles. But at the same time, though, you got to realize that's what was done on Friday. It was a lot of circle talking, a lot of prolonging, that everybody was exhausted, and nobody idea was able to be convinced or see it in our way. So we have a division in the house, but when you have a division, you have to also reach across the aisles and hold hands and figure out how we're going to do this and talk. So if you don't talk to the opposing side, you can't win their view. And so I think that's one thing we have to do as Democrats here in the office, but also as Republicans, we have to engage in more of a dialogue, because without a dialogue and communication, nothing's effective.
Wow. So you've said a mouthful. We've covered.
Well, I'm not meaning to rush you out, but I got some work to do here by 12. But thank you for dropping by. If y'all have any more information, y'all can get in contact with me at idgregory@johnmarshall.edu, or you may just wait for the next video. Thank you and have a great day.
All right.